You're also going to need a set of headphones, or cans as I call them, more specifically closed back headphones. The difference between open back and closed back is that the latter blocks out sound from the outside world, and they also prevent audio from leaking out of the headphones too, which is vital when it comes to recording vocals. Firstly, when you or your singer is laying down the vocal track, you'll have to wear headphones so that you can hear the backing track to sing along to. Because you'll be singing into a microphone, you obviously won't be able to play the backing track through your monitors, or the sound coming out of the monitors will get picked up by the microphone, and you'll end up with a horrible echo of the backing track on your vocal track, which would sound ghastly. This is why closed back headphones are important, because your head is only going to be a few inches or so away from the microphone, and if you use open back headphones, you might get some audio leakage coming out of them, which will again get picked up by the microphone. Closed back headphones have little to no audio leakage, especially if you don't have the volume cranked up in your phones too high, as they work in a similar way to those ear defenders that pile driver road workers wear. As with all the other equipment I've been talking about in this video so far, the headphones have been carefully researched, tested and considered. I did the same thing with the headphones, and I've been involved in recording engineering on and off for many years, so I have a lot of experience with various makes and models. As with the studio monitors, you don't want your headphones to colour the sound too much, and you definitely don't want to pop off down to the Apple store and buy a pair of Beats headphones, because frankly, they're rubbish. They're for non-audiophiles that don't know any better, and I suspect the packaging and presentation of Beats headphones quite possibly cost just as much as the headphones themselves. They're loaded up with bass, the mids are muddy as hell, and the treble is tinnitus inducing, so steer well clear of those overpriced pieces of plastic junk, especially given that there are professional studio grade monitor headphones that, believe it or not, cost a lot less. Thing is, these days certain manufacturers are all too keen to print buzzwords on the packaging of headphones such as professional or studio, but this doesn't necessarily make it so. I know a lot of video producers who love the Sennheiser HD25s, which cost about £120, and I've even owned these headphones myself, but I can't see what the big deal is about these headphones. I think a lot of guys, especially video producers, just get them because everybody else has them and everybody says how great they are. For me, they're average, and in fact, they're below average for professional studio monitoring and mixing purposes. Also, they're very uncomfortable for longer sessions as they sit very tightly on the ear and not over the ear. So the headphones I use, and I can't recommend enough, are the Beyerdynamic DT 770 Pros, and more importantly, the 80 ohm version. Yes, they're available in impedances of 32, 80 and 250 ohms. The 32 ohm version is more for iPhones and iPods, things that only chuck out a tiny current to the headphones, so the 32 ohm versions are very easy to drive, but not what you would want in a recording studio. The 250 ohm version, in my opinion, are a little bit overkill, and they require some kick from a professional mixing desk to get the best out of them. So for me, the 80 ohm version is the sweet spot. They still need a bit more current to drive them, but all audio interfaces will drive them easily, and when used with the Antelope Audio Discrete or Zen Go audio interfaces, the balance in audio levels, the headphone gain output from the sockets and the sound quality all add up to a marriage made in heaven. The DT 770 Pros come in at around £120, and I've been using these for years. They're by far the most comfortable headphones you'll ever wear. They sit over the ear, encapsulating your ear entirely, and they're a nice snug fit without being overly tight. The sound quality is right up there. The bass response is deep, tight and controlled. The mids are nice and clear with no discernible woolliness, while the high frequencies are nice and clear without being overly bright. Perfect for mixing and mastering. Now, I know that some people might argue that mixing on headphones is an absolute no-no, but this is nonsense. Any professional, and I say professional recording engineer, will tell you that it's essential to mix and master using a combination of monitors and headphones these days. Why? Because you'll get a different perspective with the headphones. Stereo separation and automated panning will be greatly exaggerated in the headphones. You won't get any room reflections or room tone influence, and the whole flavour and mix will just come across in a different way, as the sound seems to come through within the centre of your head as opposed to in front of you from two stereo monitors. Also, about half, possibly more amongst the younger generation, listen to music on headphones, so you have to mix and master for that market too. So it's a case of getting a good balance. Your final mix should sound good when played back on any system, be it a £100,000 audiophiles hi-fi system, a more budget hi-fi system, a smart speaker such as a Sonos Play 5, the car stereo, and yes, headphones and earbuds too. So mix with your monitors for real world sounds that bounce around your room, and then switch back and forth between the monitors and your headphones for a different musical perspective. And in between, take breaks, leave the room for a drink or a bite to eat, and it's important that you actually leave the room and go to another room that isn't acoustically treated so your ears can readjust. Also, it's a good idea to listen to your mix from outside the room in the corridor with the door slightly open. This gives another perspective on the mix, but more on that a little later. So anybody who tells you not to mix with headphones is talking absolute nonsense. You have to mix and consider the headphone generation.